Hello and good morning, Eddie Chumney. Greetings from Germany. Eddie, before you left to the conference to Israel, we had quite a long conversation, and I already told you that there were some issues which happened to me, which is of concern to everybody. Why? Because it is really for the sake of Zion, for the sake of Israel, and for the kingdom, and of course for our Lord Yeshua. And it's a very, very important issue. Now the things I will going to tell you, I hope that they make sense, and only sense to you, because over while we haven't seen each other for years and years and years, of course you traveled the four corners of the world in the meantime, and visited all the sheep, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. While when we first time met us, we met in Jerusalem. I think Herod Nell was even with us, Scott Diffendorfer, Ephraim Frank, 2003 or something like this. But then you also came to visit me actually in Berlin, 2012 or something. But I was in Brazil because the Lord said, there were the lost sheep. So I went there. It was for 4.5 months. And in Berlin, I was at the seat of Satan, literally at the seat of Satan. So now you can, so when I'm telling you now, we go with you into now some very detailed scripture to reveal some of the stuff. Yeah? And of course it's concerning Ephraim. It's concerning Ephraim. Now everything what I'm going to tell you, I tried to tell already since last year, February. Because I received a really an anointing and a vision from Hashem, and try to put this into words. I called immediately several very important people in my connections, because I was under the impression they also received something from the Lord. When the Lord gives dreams and visions, then of course somebody should give a confirmation. So I called some people. And in February, I didn't even know about anything, because I was really out for 7 years. And this is now very important. From 1/1/8 until 1/1/15, there was a period of exact 7 years to the day, Eddie. Exactly. This is where you visited me, here in the middle, in 2012. 12 for the 12 apostles. In 2012, you visited me in the middle, directly in the middle of this period. Now, in this period, I was literally at the seat of Satan, where you visited me. Okay? Now, before Eddie, I had also to the day, and I only found this out here. Yeah, in February 2015, this is where I received my vision, and it started all with the call from the Christian Embassy, from the International Christian Embassy, of Dr. Jürgen Bühler, my friend Yogi. Okay, my friend Yogi. It started all here. And in that day, I was reading Daniel 4, where it says, that there is a tree, and that tree is seen all over the world, and everybody is under the tree. And then the watcher is coming and declares that the tree is cut down. And for 7 years, that tree is put into chains. He cannot move. But then afterwards, he receives, the watcher is coming again, and he's released. and he's going back together with his counselors. So I was reading this on this moment, and I was pondering on that day, and I was pondering. I said, can this be that I am that tree? Can I? Because I was 7 years, and because we had this history before, I know that something is fishy, but I didn't know. I didn't know. But what I knew was that it had something to do with what I did in Jerusalem, of course. Before we met, Eddie, before we met. And this is the word from Jerusalem, the word from Jerusalem for the ICEJ. This is Sukkot 2000. And I have this picture with the Prime Minister. Okay. And my whole way started out, and I put up this picture because this is a picture, it was on the first issue of my own magazine, which I did in '98. So what I realized suddenly, that by the year 2000, here's 2000, okay, I did things out of the Spirit because I left 94. I left 94 basically. I was called by the Lord in Düsseldorf. In Düsseldorf. I was dead. I was dead, and I saw a vision. I saw a vision of Yeshua hanging on the cross. And he looked at me and said, Ulf, I died for you. And in this moment, I was born again, and I, got resurrected. And after that, I started reading the Bible, and for the first time in my life as a German, I didn't speak English. Eddie, I don't speak English normally, For the first time in my life, it makes sense. It totally makes sense. But because I was born, in a generation as Jerusalem native. Okay, so when you wake up out of your forgetfulness and you see yourself surrounded with Roman laws, and there is no Yeshua in there, but you're able to read now and say, oh, it's Jerusalem, and then you show up. That's quite something. All right. Now I didn't know that because for us it's normal that Jerusalem exists, but it came only into being with my birth, okay, I was born on 25/5, 67, okay, and this day I found out is like a super duper special date, and the only combination in the Bible, the only verse combination in the Bible, where it says Abraham gave everything to Isaac. This is the birth date of Isaac. In Bereshit, you go to Bereshit 25:5. Chapter 24 has 67 verses. 67 verses. Okay. And during this time, back then when Jerusalem was born, this was second Pesach. And it was the day of a very, very special Roman law. Very special Roman law, Eddie. And this is very, very important for you to understand. Very important for you to understand. Okay, this is the secret of the Eucharist. It's a Eucharistium is Mysterium. Eucharisticum Mysterium. This is the center. This date and the regulation is the center of the whole church life. I was born. This is the center of this regulates the little cookie the Pope carries around in the monstrance. This is Christ's blood day. This is my birthday. This is Christ's blood day. Okay. Now, this date in 67 and also in 2015 were surrounded with blood moons. Okay. Now one of the blood moons was on 24/4. Was on 24/4. This is the blood moons. You know, this is the first blood moon in 1967. Okay. This is the birth date of my father. It's of my father. But there is a second law. There is a second Roman law. Okay. It had an anniversary there. It's concerning Dei Filius, which clears the infallibility of the Pope. This is this date. Now, if you go, of course, to Matthew 24:4, it says, that you should take care that nobody deceives you. Because once you understand, you have a conscience of being one stone, one living stone in the living temple of the living God. Okay, then you know that the rules and regulations of man, they are not valid for you anymore. And you are indeed that secret, each one of us. That's the whole idea of the sons of the living God, of Hosea. Okay, that the spirit of Yeshua came down during Shavuot. Now on 25/5/15 was a super Shavuot, because it was calendar alignment and everything. This was my 48th birthday. Okay. This birth date, this birth date is in Ezekiel 48, verse 15, is the size of Jerusalem 25/5. That's my birth date, 48. And when you go into Hebrew, okay, my name is written in there. Okay. Aleph Alpine. So what did I do in Aleph Alpine? What did I do in Aleph Alpine before we met? Yeah. Torah. No. The Torah and the word from Jerusalem. Now, what was so special about the Torah? You see, when I studied, Eddie, I was the first guy coming out of the nations in 96. Okay, there was no German. And there was also nobody teaching. There was nobody teaching Torah. Nobody was teaching Torah. The first guy who started was Boaz Michael from First Fruits of Zion. Okay, back then with Ariel Berkowitz, David Friedman, the teachers, my teachers. They were my teachers. And Boaz Michael was the first Jew who said, okay, I'm going to teach the Torah to non-Jews. Why? For hundreds and hundreds of years, the Jews were totally separated. You couldn't read Torah. It was totally impossible. It was not possible. And definitely not before 67. Nobody. Okay? So it became a very big stir. And I started then, said, okay, I have to do this for Germany, of course. And I registered the domain, torah.de. So now you see, and I made a statement here that any Christian should keep Torah according to Acts 15. According to Acts 15, of course, you have to keep Torah. When you become a believer, you follow Yeshua, the King of the Jews. Of course, you have to become like him. You have to become like a King of the Jews. That's the whole point. That you go through Torah every week, and then the Word transforms you and becomes flesh. The Word of God becomes flesh. Okay. Now, this is what I wrote in the year 2000. This is what the Spirit gave me. Okay, and it's published in the Pentecostal publishing house. In a publishing house. back then, Ingolf Elzel, who is currently like one of the chief Pentecostal guys in the Empowerment 21 movement, who had on that day their conference, okay, they rejected this. They said, no, we want to keep the spirit, but we want to be lawless. We want to stick with the Pope. Now, the whole case of this in the Ephraim in the ICEJ, it's written on my website now, Eddie. It's completely written out on my website. Yeah? It's the core issue, the Pentecostal spirit, because they rejected Ephraim here. I was there. I received 2 sticks out of the blue, who were given like long before in the year 1980 to somebody, and in the year 2000 they showed up in my office after I received the vision. Okay, and they are witnesses to this. So when one day in the year 2000 already, I had 2 sticks that came out of blue. So I come out of the nations, born here, okay, totally young believer. I believe everything. Why now I'm in Jerusalem, and suddenly in my office are showing up 2 sticks, completely written. They were in my hands. So since that day, it's officially, I proclaimed this in the ICEJ, everybody knows this, that I'm Ephraim. And this is why we met. And this is why in 2005, you know, in 2005, we started, I made the Declaration of Independence. I made the Declaration of Independence of Ephraim. It's a nation. It's done. It's a done deal. Okay. Now, because of an administrative issue, Eddie, because of an administrative issue, okay, here's my passport, you travel a lot. You know, I wanted to check something in the United States. I moved, after I received here to Datzeut everything for my children. I have 4 kids. Now, 1 kid is born in the house, on Kwa Etzion. It's literally in the house. And according to Torah, of course, they have a birthright in the land. And according to Ezekiel 47, I am an Israelite. I am an Israelite. Now, by 31st 12 07, okay, everything was clear. I had a big business, I had cash, everything was smooth. It was super duper. I was in the States. I wanted to take care of the nation, you know, with the Hebrew root networks and Scott Diffendorfer and everything. But because I was ejected here and put at the seat of Satan, suddenly everything broke down. Why? Because my whole surrounding, they hate me. They hate me for this. They hate me for this. They hate me for this. I cannot say this. My baptism, okay, what can I say? It's in Germany, it's when you get baptized as an adult, you are outside, you're excommunicated, you're outside society. Nobody wants to deal with you. Now, when you're then even ejected from the Pentecostals, you're nobody. It's Germany, state church. We are here still in the fascist system. Nobody knows. Okay, and I experienced here discrimination and attacks against my, you know, written testimony. Written testimony. I came here, you know, as a holy family. And everything got destroyed. And I didn't know what to do. And for 7 years I, you know, let everything break down. Everything break down. And then that call comes. And then I found out. Okay, now this is all published, Eddie. I put this all out. So in the meantime, I'm much further. I tried. When Ephraim Frank made here this conference, he made on that day, this was my birthday, he made a conference. I called him in February and I said, Ephraim, man, take a look at the stars. I received that vision and I showed him, I told him the whole story. And he said, oh, you have to still wait, you know, we don't do anything. But he blessed me. He was here at the Declaration of Independence. He was here. Ephraim Frank was there. Jared Nell was there. Abraham Feld was there. Yair Vidi was there. Plus, I don't know, 75 people from a tour group from America. And I read the Declaration of Independence. Okay? So in the plan of God, okay, what happened now is that the least, really, because I lost all my worldly kingdom, all my business, all my cash, everything. Why? Because I knew, yeah, for this, of course, I would be called. It's a statement nobody did. I have the first Apostle Acts 1 testimony that I received the Spirit in the nation, out of some, in the nation, woke up, and I'm a true witness. I'm a true witness in Jerusalem, yeah, in Judea, yeah, because it's my birth date, of course, this is when I started my ministry, it was 30, at the grave of Abraham. Okay, I'm a true witness, in Jerusalem, meaning I produced something. I not only, I put my mark on Jerusalem. I mean, if you go back now 50 years in history, the only guy ever coming out, saw a burning bush and brings out a Torah is Ulf. Not even Paul. No, nobody. And this is why everybody came, Eddie. So I am that true missing stone. And the true missing stone didn't know anything of it until I'm here. And since then, I'm trying, to bring the tribes together. Now, I started now a fundraiser for Mount Zion. I put this up on 22nd. On the conference, on the Shavuot conference, nobody talked about this. Nobody. And everybody should know. I told everybody. I called you. I called Avraham Feld. I talked to Ovadia Avrahami. Yeah, I talked to Avi Lipkin. Yeah, Mo and Martin, two were there. 2 other Germans. I think I don't know, there were 100 people there, but I know at least 20. And I sent them and I said, please bring this up. I called you. So in the meantime, I'm sitting here. Everything is ready. Everything is prepared. I have everything in my head. I have all the documentation. I'm the first guy in history, Eddie. I can prove, that yes, if you want to have somebody the Lord chose, yeah, that's me. That's absolutely me. But it's like totally, what can I say? I still have that aftermath here. Okay, and so, because now we have on 25:5, 17, okay, 25, so the secret of the Eucharist, who was with 48, got like the Shavuot super duper blessing, okay, will have his 50th on Christ Ascension Day. That's Christ Ascension Day. So this is the date, this is just my birth date, okay, and this is my life. And and when I'm telling you this now, you can connect the dots. Why? Because Ephraim, of course, is a true firstborn. It's a firstborn. He was born. Everybody was born. Okay, but then of course you had to be born again. Now when you are born again, you have witnesses. Now these are my witnesses, and they will never ever go away. So the whole idea of the firstborn and the servanthood of Yeshua. So once we receive the spirit of Yeshua, the spirit of the resurrection, and we belong to the sons of God, as prescribed in Hosea and of course Romans 9, then you are son of a living God. Then you become like Jesus. And we are then all the same. And Jesus specifically said, yeah, okay, we do greater things. We will do greater things. Yes, of course we will do greater things because we build up the kingdom. So now, each one of the stones was prepared. Everybody, the whole structure, everybody is building. Yeah, everything's prepared. Because they were waiting for somebody to come back. Now this person to come back is me. Because I need to go back to Jerusalem, of course. And I want to do this on this date because it's my 50th. It's Christ's Ascension date. And this is Apostle Acts 1. Acts 1. Acts 1. You know, Jesus, it has now the time come that you restore the kingdom back to Israel. No, not now. It's a time the Father put in his own hands, in his own times and seasons. Yeah, this is why you have the stars in the heaven, because it was created on the fourth day when the sun and moon was created. There he already put his time, but in his own power. So Jesus didn't know. Yeshua didn't know. Yeshua didn't know. He is not the Father. Okay, he was only the first son who went up in the heaven to bring down the Spirit, so that we can all become like him, all like him. Yeah, of course that is only possible through Torah, and you cannot move one tittle from the left and to the right. You have to fulfill it. Matthew 5:17. You have to fulfill it. You have to fulfill it. You have to do Torah. You don't have to believe. No, you have to do. You have to do. Okay, so do Torah. And put your mark on now. So on that day, though that stone, okay, this basically, all right. So on 25, it's this 50 years, and it's the only possible person who can really come up with a testimony like this, written from Jerusalem, all Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the world. In this 50 years, it's the first person. Now in Obadiah 17, it says that on Mount Zion will be deliverance, and Jacob will receive back his possessions. Jacob, the guy with the hip, and I'm the guy with the hip. You know, it fits everything. Okay. So now, because I was not able to communicate with everybody. Okay, I was not able to communicate with everybody, but I have a very good overview what I have to do and how to bring this kingdom really about. Because with this birth date, if everybody agrees, you know, of course the Pope has to deliver the kingdom of Jerusalem to me. He has to, because when I am that secret, when I'm that cookie, of course he has to. He has to. And then, of course, Ephraim can be received. I have the blessings from the rabbi. Rabbi Feld blessed me for this. This is why I did it. Yeah, this is why I did it. All right. So when I receive the power from, and they say, listen, would you please, I want to go to the Pope, and on this day, officially, that he hands me over the kingdom of Jerusalem. Yeah, literally on Mount Zion. Yeah, and transfer Rome to Jerusalem through Ephraim on Mount Zion. Okay, this is what the Father wants. That finally, the Antichrist, that beast, is gone. Very funny, on 25/5/14, while I was still at the seat of Satan, he went up to the Temple Mount, the Pope, on my birthday. So if I'm thinking about Antichrist, yeah, I am anointed, yeah. If the guy is on my birthday on the Temple Mount, then he's the Antichrist, definitely. Yeah. So it fits everything. And I can go now through the Bible. My daughters of Zion, Zechariah 9:9. O daughter of Zion, Yael was born on Kvar et Zion, on the wood of Zion, 50 meters of the embassy. O daughter of Jerusalem, born in 99. Your king is coming. Ephraim, the arrow. That's okay. So now, where does this all lead to? So the full idea is, of course, not that kingdom. That is only one part. Yeah, this is only for the official thing. The very super duper mega important thing is Yom Kippur next year, because it's a 50 years jubilee Yom Kippur. Okay. After 5777, okay, so after I found grace and lived through these 777 cycles, okay, we have like the Virgin is giving birth, and the planet, it's a star sign, comes out on Yom Kippur next year, 2017. Okay, and then all doctrines, we have the possibility now, because I am the living proof that Joe Doe from somewhere, God can elect and say, yep, that's him. He's the least. Yeah? Now, a lot of people say, in Daniel 4, this is Nebuchadnezzar. Now, of course, it's not Nebuchadnezzar, because it's a tree. It's not a statue. Nebuchadnezzar built a statue. This is a tree. Now a tree is Psalm 1. If you meditate on the Torah day and night, and you're a king and you write your own Torah, then you are like a tree. Then you are a tree. This is the tree of the king. And the only tree who was seen visibly to the ends of the world in Jerusalem, because he was not Jewish and gave out the Torah and the word from Jerusalem, which is still going out into the four corners of the world. This is me. That's the only tree. And it's the only tree in the whole Christian church. I don't know anybody else, who was cut off for 7 years and just left out. Last disciple of Derek Prince. Super duper business empire. Everything cool. But because of that Torah thing, for 7 years he's gone. So I'm the only one missing. Now the whole idea, of course, was that when Jesus, there was a struggle amongst the disciples. They said, who is first? Who's first? Who's first? And he said, listen, the world, they are doing this from the top. But you have to be the least, you have to be the servant of everybody, the servant of everybody, the servant of everybody. And I was the servant here for everybody, just enduring this, by just enduring this. Now nobody in this time, they thought whatever. Okay, so now I'm still in this place where I'm saying, shit, I have to come out somehow. I have to come out. People don't know. All right. So now, Eddie, you have a mega big mailing list. Mailing list. I want you to write a fat letter to them and say, listen, this. You explain this. Try to explain this. You can show my website, everything. And then I really want to put the money into into fundraiser for this Ephraim embassy on Mount Zion. Okay, this is a political thing. It's a political thing. Now, because it's my daughters, you see, I have daughters there, I have business there, I have contacts there, and they're all dormant. And people are really angry about me because, I'm not able to communicate. Everybody who's going there, it doesn't bring it up. I ask you to bring this up on the conference. Yeah. So everybody is doing. Ovatja now have, I don't know how many hundreds or so on people paying all $20. Yeah, I started this on $25.5. Please register with Ephraim. Yeah, and now there is a Jewish Joseph list. No, we need one solid where people say, yep, I put my name down. I want to put down my name on Zion. Okay, and I want you, please, to start really spreading the message. And then I want to come, Eddie. I want to come to America. I already sent some other messages out. And I want to come into America and discuss this with the highest guys there are, with everybody, and really, make this a legal case. It's a legal case for High Court. Because it's by law. I can require this by law. That's request this by law. It's not by might, it's not by power. It's because of my testimony and my stuff I can really do this. Okay? And there's nobody else, Eddie. There's nobody else. Okay? Now everybody else who is out there, who is a leader, who's they should get behind this. And get the tribes really organized. And there are much more out there what you can imagine. There are quite some interesting issues. Why? Very important. You can check this. I was like shocked. I was shocked. Because I couldn't do this. It's the Father, totally. It's not me. Okay. I always wondered, where my name comes from, because when I was here at the seat of Satan, it's interestingly that Diebel, is on a map directly opposite of the seat of Satan, on the Pergamon Museum, and it's the name for Biblos. This is where the name Bible comes from. Okay, Diebel. So And I said, oh, this is quite interesting, you know, because this is where the scribes and the tribes and so left out. So I checked furthermore, and just recently I found out that Diebel is a baptism name of Theobald. So for hundreds of years already. It's a very old name, and I knew that we were, you know, part of like some, you know, better off families, let me put it this way, you know, with land and, you know, Germany. And so it comes out that it's a descendant of Theobald. It's an official declaration. Yes, you are a descendant of Theobald. And Theobald is one of the Norman people who come out of the Benjamin, who are written in the Doomsday Book from 1086. The Doomsday, the year 86, the year I made, I finished my school. You know, 10,086. You know, so his name is written. And one of his descendants, so one of my ancestors, was the last European king. Theobald V was the last European king in the Kingdom of Jerusalem in 1241. Okay, so this is a family member. It's a family member, and this is official. I didn't know. I've had to find out. You know, so after I found out, I said, "This is. I mean, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing." Because for that, you know, I received like all types of, you know, there are, you know, very honoraries, like order, where you get like stickers, you know, from like where the Pope says, oh, yep, you're the pilgrimage order of the blah, blah, blah. And because I did this, of course I want to get them all. Of course I want to get them all. Because they all talk BS about Yeshua. You know, Yeshua, of course, was the king of the Jews. And we had to transform into him. You know, like the suffering Messiah during our life, so that at the end, you know, amongst the brethren is chosen once the kingdom, you know, once the kingdom is finished and visible and everybody knows, oh, it's there, you know, that we chose amongst ourselves one who is, you know, King of Kings. Each one of us is king, and then we build up one King of Kings. Now, you can ask, I showed this to Ephraim, ask him, you know, I have on my tie, because in Revelation 19:16 it says that somebody's coming on the horse, and he has a robe, but he has also something written on his thigh. He has something written on his thigh. So this cannot be Jesus, you know. Now I have written something on my thigh since since my 7th birthday. On that day of the Dei Filius, I received my Jacob's hip. Okay. Now why can this not be Jesus in Revelation? Because Jesus had, of course, he had stuff on his hands, and then he had wounds on his side. So when Thomas came, this is why he put his hand in his side. The doubting twin. He's a twin. It's a twin. It's a twin. Yeah. So I also, you know, before I went out, I really doubted. I doubted everything, and then I read Thomas. Now you have to put your hands in your wounds. My body is like marked with the sufferings of Christ from here to here. You know, I got strangled, I got 3 ribs broken, I got my hip, I have pain every day, you know, to keep me humble, so that, so I didn't know that one day, you know, I'm ready to actually take on the job. And you see, you know, I'm not, I'm, you know, Ulf. I'm Ulf. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. And so, Eddie, I hope now that you understand that currently there are some issues. You know, I cannot explain. I just have to do them, and I need some money for this. I really need some money. I have to pay some lawyers. I have to get some graphics guy, take care of some issue, and really communication. And for that, you know, I need either people who either hands, or I can buy them, Now, everything I do, everything is targeted towards this date, Eddie. Everything. Okay? And that we really have an embassy there. Everybody. That we do not have to go. No, and we explain, I will explain to our Jewish brethren how this works with Yeshua. I will explain this to them. Yeah, I will explain this to them. Okay? I explain this to them. And in John 11:54, you know, we have to understand that when Yeshua left the Jews, you know, he went to Ephraim. There he stays with his disciples. Okay, there he stays with his disciples. So the whole church, every believer, blah, 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 everybody has to come to us. I mean, we are the true representatives of Yeshua. We are the true representatives. This is what the Bible says. This is what John 11:54 says. That means if we agree upon all that we are that, of course, and we are that, you believe that you are that, then the whole church, everybody has to come and as a true representative of Yeshua. And because I received, I am that date, and that and have that secret, and can prove that I really received that power from above and did these things. Okay, we are the shepherds then, and we will rule the nations in the power of Yeshua. Okay, but in total peaceful accordance, of course, with Judah. Now the whole idea with Judah is because it's Joseph had to reveal himself. Now Ephraim has to reveal himself too. If you see in Revelation, it's a white stone, and the guy receives only knows himself. Only I know. Only I knew, and since then I tried to explain. Only the guy knew. Of course, in the meantime there are more people, and it makes more sense. All right. And now it has to, spread. It has to spread. On Eddie, please, send out an email. Send out an email. Tell the story. Tell the story. You know how I met me. How this is in Berlin. Oh, basically, very interesting. Moses. Why have I been cut out? Moses had a Cushite wife. You saw my wife. Moses who brought the Torah. Ulf brought the Torah. They both have a Cushite wife. Okay, and the Torah says that they're Miriam, and this was always the big problem, because Moses brought the Torah down. He brought the Torah down like me, and but everybody said, yeah, but is this what you really believe, that only Moses is able to tell the truth? Only Moses receives something from God? Yeah, this is so. But you really believe that only Ulf receives something from God? Only him, we have to listen to him. Yeah, this is exactly what's it's in Deuteronomy, not in Deuteronomy, Numbers. What Miriam and Aaron did to Moses, and this is what Jürgen Bühler and Vesna Bühler did to us. In the center of the of Christian theology, they basically ejected us because they said, they believe like the Jews. Yeah, and this is why the Ephraim lie is in the ICEJ. And it's spreading all over the world, and it has to go out. And I put this all on my website, the whole case. So Eddie, please, I hope you understand. Let's be in touch. Prepare that email, send this out, invite people to let their names really live there on Mount Zion. And we have currently I have a trustee there. It will be prepared. Only I'm here. Okay, and then we target everything, world attention, on this thing, and say, give me the kingdom to Jerusalem for the Christians, for all Christianity. This is our share, what we bring. Okay, and because I'm Lutheran, and because of the birth date, and because I have a good case in the ICEJ, and because I'm the first, it will work, Eddie. It will work. When we all agree, okay, then we sit all on the throne on Mount Zion. So, blessings. See you later. Yeah, Eddie, sorry that I put this in at the end. When I was editing the video, the Spirit reminded me really on to Germany, because I sit in Germany here, and Germany. You see, in '95, when I left Germany here in '94, already in '94, when I became a believer, I was outside the system. You see, Germany is a very strong socialist system. Okay, when you have a number, when you have an ID, then your whole life you're registered. You're registered. I mean, this is a system 666. Yeah, you're registered, and you're not following, of course, you know, you're not following Torah. You want to follow Torah. Your inner heart wants to follow Torah, but there are, of course, rules and regulations. Now, the rules and regulations in Germany are completely according to Rome. It's canonic law for the last 500 years, and the whole legal system, everything, court system, election system, is a copy of Roman imperialistic law. This is why the Pope is there. This is why the Pope there. And Germany is the center of that Roman law. And it started out on 25/12/800. This was the date when the Pope declared Leo the first emperor of the Holy Roman Empire of German nations. And it was a breeding bed of the tribes here. It was a breeding bed. Maimonides, all the rabbi, you know, the 13 principles of Rambam. Rambam, he went through this empire in the 1200s or something like this, for the search of the lost sheep. I mean, this was part of his work. In the Middle Ages, it was clear that the Israelites are, of course, in there. Now, some of the Israelites, then, of course, under the persecution of the church, under the persecution of the Pope, okay, left as soon as they had the possibility. This is why you are sitting in the United States. This is why Scott Diffendorfer, you know, it's a name of a city in Germany, Diffendorfer, you know. So a lot of these, you know, they're coming out of Europe because they fled the church. They fled the church, and of course there were people left behind, okay, and forgotten. And they're forgotten, and they're mingled in there. They're totally, absolutely forgotten. And then in Germany, 500 years ago, so when we have 2017, we have 500 years the Reformation of Luther, Martin Luther, from Germany. And I am a born Lutheran. I have like my, you know, I have a baptism thing. And so in the theology of I'm the first guy, you know, with this testimony going back to Judah and telling the Christians, yeah, sola scriptura, of course, sola scriptura means not to move from the left to the right, okay? But of course the Luther started the lies and from the Jews and their lies. This was Luther. And I exposed basically the lies of the Lutherans, everything. Now our president is a Lutheran. He's a Lutheran pastor. Now our king, the descendants of our rightful king here in Germany, he's a Lutheran pastor. He sits in Brandenburg, in Berlin. He's a pastor, has 4 kids. Though he would be rightful king here in Germany. Germany is like still in this legal body, and it's a private, it's a limited. And because you know, it's under the rules and regulations of Rome and United States and everything, because it is this body for centuries which had an absolute hatred, a hatred against Jews. It's in the DNA of the heart of Europe, against the Jews. Why? Because we are Israel. We are Israel. Now, but here it's like mixed with Esau and Ishmael, and now the Syrians are coming. Think about this. I come up here, and in September, when the first conference, or where there were like conferences, and Shavuot comes, and suddenly Isaiah 17 kicks in. Yeah? Damascus is destroyed, and the Syrians are coming to Germany, and what is it called? The fortresses of Ephraim are falling. The fortresses of Ephraim falling. He lost everything. This is after this date. This is biblical. This is like prophetic, like totally. And it's definitely in Germany. Why? Because of this Martin Luther issue. Why? In October 31st, 10, the Lutherans, they will hold, like from the World Council, a joint session, a joint Eucharistic party. They celebrate the Lord's Supper, the Eucharist. They celebrate the Eucharist on 31st 10 for 499 years Lutheran. And they are going back with their whole theology and everything under the Pope. Now the Pope this year, and I didn't know this, when I gave out this stuff, I didn't know this, but I already had a video out there. I said, okay, on this date, the prize of Karl Marx is handed out from the Europeans. This is Karl Marx. And for the first time, so what is the prize of Karl Marx? When Germany was founded on 23/5/49, okay, 49, all right. A basic law was given. Why? Because Germany was totally destroyed after the Holocaust, the Shoah, which was over 70 years. This day, 70 years the Shoah was over, +1, after the flood. So the Holocaust really was this time of the trouble of Jacob, because my grandfather Jacob, who really called Jacob, my grandfather, was born in 1907. He had to go through the time of the trouble of Jacob. 7 years. 7 years. This was his cycle. Okay? And so the German people were totally devastated. And because of Germany, the United Nations were founded. And because of the United Nations, the Federal Republic of Germany was founded. And of course, like the GDR, like the eastern part. Okay, and they said, okay, we lock these people up until somebody comes up and wants to make peace. And for that they hang out a prize, which is the prize of Karl Marx. And it's like from the position and explanation what the European founder thought would be the Prince of Peace, who brings everybody together. Okay, now this year, 23/5, is the birth date of my grandmother, who was married to Jacob, Mary, the Holy Mary. Okay, that's her birth date. She was 39. She was born 1910. Okay, and she was born under laws which, were basically transgressed by this Kingdom of Vatican City, which was founded 1919 by Mussolini and the fascists. Okay, and all these people became suddenly, also my grandmother, who was born on this date, okay, were locked in a prison of Rome, under Roman laws, until the day, and this is in our constitution, in our basic law, which is it's very described in very detail. The Roman law is very detailed, that you have to have a self-consciousness about the existence of God, okay, and that you have a responsibility towards God and towards men. So this is why everybody puts his hand on the Bible, okay? Puts his hand on the Bible. Now the biggest thing is for me, of course, as a German, that I found out this big secret. In February when I was 47, Daniel 2:47, the sun eclipse, in February was 2 minutes and 47. So it's, we're talking, so for a German coming out of the history, going back, this is in Germany, it's a super, it's huge, The problem is, because when I came back, everybody was still in their doctrines, everybody's still in their doctrines. The Lutherans are doing their Lutheran thing, they don't know about this. Now I wouldn't need to tell them, I need to tell them. But everywhere where I'm going, and you, for example, it's you have now the real possibility to really change this, okay? Because it's Germany, you're coming to Germany. Now everybody you go to received the message originally from me. I was the first German. Before you actually started to minister at all, I think 2003, I already traveled through Germany and spoke in dozens of churches, and to everybody. okay, which laid the seed. You know, in this time here, in this time period, I went to the four corners of the world, to South Africa. And I was shocked to see, Eddie, okay, I put up a star map, you know, on my website. In this time, I visited places. And I put the, you know, on Google Maps, I put them on stars, pop, 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 so. And by the time I was here, I traveled to the four corners of the world. And I brought the message of Ephraim and the lost sheep and whatnot went out to hundreds of thousands of people. Everywhere where I went to, when I was here, of course I was not there, and suddenly everywhere other ministry starts popping up, everywhere. And I checked now, the 119 ministry home group, Torah study group thing. Okay, like the map. They have like a map where you can go and say, okay, where do I have a Torah study group or a Shabbos group? Okay. And I took a look at the map and I was, well, how can this happen? Everywhere, every place where I have been to Indonesia, in India, I get calls from India, yeah, in South Africa, in Brazil, everywhere where I went to, okay, within this time, thousands of home groups started to popping out. Matching everywhere where I went to, the home groups are starting. Okay, where I haven't been to, there are no home groups. I haven't been in Russia, for example. I've never wanted. There are no home groups in Russia. Okay, you can. It's like it's a matching map. It's a matching map. It's a matching map. Yeah. So I was really that seed going out into Germany. There is nobody in Germany, and this is a real problem. There is nobody in Germany who does not have my book and started and heard the message first from me. They heard the message first from me. Now, when I came here, I lost all contact information, blah, blah, blah. People didn't know. And things developed here too. Okay. Now, one is Hildegard Schneider, and you spoke with Hildegard Schneider. Now, Hildegard Schneider, okay, when I started here in 96, I had a house. I was called out. Okay, and it was the visit. She came to my house. She lived in my house. I was the first person she met who really received that spirit. Okay, and because of that, in 2003 or so, she started, after I started going out, even with Ephraim Frank, did 2 camp conferences in Switzerland and you know. So now she starts in 2003, and here she starts Worldwide Wings, while I'm in Germany, and I didn't know about this. Nobody, you know, nobody know this. So now they contacted all you. They contacted all you. So everybody, all that seed, what I put down, okay, you harvested from that. You were invited. You took the cash. You took everything. And when I'm coming there now, they think I'm an idiot. They think I'm an idiot. Before that conference, I called Timon Mann. Okay, and I told him, Timon, you are sticking your head out with Ephraim. You have like Jared Nell on your website. You have like Eddie Chumney on your website. You have Hildegard Schneider. They are, you know, you're going to this conference. There are some things you really have to know. Please listen. And he didn't listen. He didn't listen. So he, you know, asked me, now please put down the video. So during this time, they built up a theology, you know, which was given to me. It was given to me. The Lord gave this to me. Okay? But they totally, you know, developed in a completely different way. Completely. Okay? And there is only 2, 3, 4 Torah ministries out there now. Okay? So currently, everybody thinks I'm this, because I came out of here, you know, shaken by the Lord. They developed their own thing, and they think now that they, you know, that they can do whatever they want. Okay, and they deny help. They deny talking. They deny contact. They deny, you know, they deny. Why? Because they say, yeah, you are the least. You know, it's like this. You know, you go to Job 1. that you see that after the disaster hits, you know, the friends, they're standing by there for 7 days. For 7 days, they're looking, and they don't say a word. They don't say a word. And only after the 7 days, the talking starts. Yeah, you know, it's the Lord did this, the Lord did that. Yeah. In that 7 days, the worst nightmare is my wife, was my wife. You know, and you read this in Job. After you lose this here, you come to the seat of Satan, you lose like, you're in Germany, and now everybody goes to your wife. Hey, Ulf, look at Ulf. So they didn't talk to me, they talked to my wife. And I, totally disastrous. Okay, and now everybody takes a look and starts, yeah, but what was with your wife? Yeah, I would like to have a regulation, but I cannot have a regulation according to Rome or what you heard. No, I need to go back to Jerusalem, clear this with the brethren there. And every time I went, I couldn't talk. So now people are talking in Germany. It's, Eddie, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. All right? So I need the elders, and this is one of you. Okay, you are coming here talking. You announce now a tour on your website. Okay? And and I talked to you. You didn't ask me. You're coming in my territory, to my territory, okay? And you tell your chief whatever you know. But I hope you understand now that I can oversee some things you cannot see. You have to really come to me, and you have to tell the German guys. Listen to Ulf, help him, put down, especially, do whatever you can to help him. He's the guy. He's the guy. I went to him, and now you send them all to me. Please. This is the order. And this is the only... and by the way, you see, because it's a legal issue. So everybody here in Germany, and this is... I did know... Last year, on that date, okay, I created, or I declared a legal body, Ephraim. Ephraim, priest of the priesthood of the order of Melchizedek. And I also told Norman Willis, I also know since 20 years, Norman Willis. So I told him, I said, listen, the order of Melchizedek, it's here. It's a legal body in Germany. It's a legal body in Germany, according to all legal requirements and regulations of my country here, for Germany. It's legal. It's absolutely legal. Okay, and the terms of service, the sole terms of service, the sole term is not according to Rome. No, it's solely based on this. It's solely based on this. It's only based on that. Only based on that. Okay, only based on that. Okay, only based on that. And this is the official copy. It's a copyrighted version from Israel. It's the first Hebrew English New and Old Testament combined from 97. Yeah, so it's the first of its kind ever, where Jews and Christians agreed and said, yes, this is the official text we can agree upon, and these are my terms of service. So when we're talking now, because it's a legal body, everybody else, of course, it's also a legal body. So, for example, Worldwide Wings, it's an NGO. It's an NGO according to the rules and regulations of Germany, with tax receipts. Okay, it's not according to the rules and regulations of Torah. No, not at all. But now, because I want to transfer this Roman law to Torah, they have to come according to Torah. And this is according to leadership and eldership. So, like a woman, as much as I love Hildegard, a woman cannot lead an NGO and then give somebody who is like Timon Mann, like a newly 1 year woke up guy who's on his own travel, they cannot lead and go out to all Germany. When the true elder, for 21 years, the true elder and true elect of Hashem, okay, is sitting here, in Querel. It doesn't work, okay? But they did this. Why? Because they were not informed. And when I come there, you know, it's basically I have to start with Adam and Eve. I have to start with Adam and Eve. Yeah, you know, back then and after. So now, but you, please, and this is so important, Eddie, this is according to leadership, please. Please tell everybody in Germany, give them my number, give them my website, give them whatever, tell them they put the money there and that they please submit there. They have to submit there because they're going out and telling things. It's terrible, it's destruction, it's totally destruction. And we see this now with Timon Man. You know, suddenly he's Hosea, he takes out all the references, you know, he doesn't stick up with his head anymore. Now he wants to convert to Judah, I don't know. Okay, why? Because he's totally confused, and I told him, please listen to me. He goes to everybody else, but he's not man enough to come. So this is how you see, this is like, they need leadership, these people. They need leadership. So when you know them, and they know you, you have to tell them that Ulf, now in Germany, here in Dortmund, you know, that they please listen. All right, this is very important. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, because we are a kingdom, now because it's a business, and because everybody else is in some other NGO, anybody else is some other NGO. So either so I'm the only guy who, by his own life, always went around as a person, as an individual, making contracts and you know, covenants with people, and there's of course a business. The business application, okay? Now that business application, we have our own fund, Genesis Money. Genesis Money. It's you know, we're talking about silver and gold. I mean, we have like a full program, X and change into the kingdom, okay? Because if you're a citizen of that kingdom, of course you register, not on a list. No, you put your name down. You put your name down, like with Herzl. You know, they had this golden book. They had the golden book. And it was not like, okay, yes, I believe and I want to receive information and blah, blah, blah. No, I want to get out of this. I want to get out of this. I put my name down and I put my money where my mouth is. Okay? Now, of course, you understand when it's for Germany, when it's for Jerusalem, this is like Melchizedek for Jerusalem, for Mount Zion. This is, of course, 10%. 10%. Goes to Jerusalem. This is the only law that in the Bible, that when you pay your tithe and offering, you pay it to Jerusalem. That you pay your silver to get your firstborn out. Now, if you have only paper, you cannot fulfill Torah. You need silver. You need silver. You need silver. So it's just more to have an NGO. No, we don't have an NGO. We have a kingdom with a fund. We need people to take care of the funds. This is for Mount Zion, you know, where we store our silver for the Lord, where people come and put it out. It's our money in the kingdom. All right, it's a total transfer of business, of thought, of and so this is the offer for everybody in Germany, that by solving my problem, I solve everybody else's problem too, of course, because we are an own nation. We are truly that nation, but we have to really put down the name and say, yes, our nation is where our center is, and we want to put our name down on Mount Zion. We want to do that. This is where we're going to. This is where we're going to. Now everybody else, because I'm going there, this is my target, everybody else is first of all outside. It's outside. And when people are going out and telling stupid things about Torah and about Ephraim and about the word from Jerusalem, about Ulf and about things, you know, I have to be active. I cannot keep silent. It's totally impossible. All right? Now, but it's much better when before I start fighting here, when you go around and say, please, you know, do this. And this is urgent. This is urgent. Eddie, urgent. You know, it's a lot of money involved. And everything is ready. You know, I sent you a link to the website now. So, see you later.